know. My mother, she don't know marry you. And she don't know I'm lesbian.
We are always here. Where is here? We are always at a stage where, you know what? I tell you what's crazy, right? Yeah, it's always happening from the person who's not from America. How can you? So Jen flies back to India, right? To, marry Rishi, to think that things are going forward. She gets there and Rishi has not told the family about her. And also on top of that, she finds out that the family has been looking for a wife for him. And then also on top of that, she's now had to go back to America without even marrying the man. Okay. Debbie goes to Morocco and meets up with Osama. Osama, again, same thing situation. He then tells her that I'm not ready to marry you yet. I want you to stay for 2 months. After the 2 months, I want you to go back to America. And then we'll have a little review. We're going to have a little conference meeting and review all the pros and cons about your behavior. Now, and then we got Gabriel. He has gone, is he in Colombia too? I'm not too sure. But then we got Gabriel too. And, he now has to tell the family, Isabel's family, that he is trans. Right? Cool. Now, the situation is slightly different because the power is actually in his hands, which is something that he should have done before making the move, before making the jump. So to be fair, that's more on him, to be fair with you. But now we got Kris and Jeymi. And we're in a situation where Jeymi last week, or even in this episode, to be fair, was completely losing her shiz about the fact that Kris is going to go back to what? Kris was meant to go back to Alabama for this whole bike that had been stolen, all that kind of stuff. She's having a whole meltdown, saying, oh, I don't know if she just wants to disappear. I don't know if she just wants to leave because she doesn't want to be with me, or whatever. But then in this episode itself in particular here, we've got an episode where Kris decides to obviously say, no, I can stay here for longer. I don't have to go back to Alabama right now. And also on top of that, Kris also proposes to Jeymi again as well. She wants to do a different type of proposal, right? One in person, all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, we're in a position where Jeymi comes out with this. My mother doesn't know that I'm going to marry you, and nor does she know that I'm a lesbian. Like, honestly, I just don't understand the philosophy. I don't understand the thought process behind any of these people, Before you make your jump to another country, I don't know how it's that hard to make sure you got all your pieces in order first. To assume things is just damaging. To assume things is just dumb as hell. Like, bruh. These storylines are just so repetitive and so irritating. Like, come on, man. Come on. So what happens, Jeymi, when mum finds out that you're a lesbian? What happens when she finds out you're gonna marry a woman? What then? But let's not forget though, should I be surprised? No, and also let's not forget, Jeymi did move from Venezuela, I think, all the way to Colombia anyway, because it was less accepted there for her to be a lesbian and more accepted here. Oh man, people talk about building trust. Okay, let's continue.
Do you think there will be any time later that you will tell your mom?
Maybe a few months, few years, I don't know.
I'm sorry. Few months, a few years. I mean, listen, the only good thing about it is that she's 100% committed to marrying to marrying Kris. But when she does tell her mom, in a few months allegedly, or to a few years, what then? What happens if if her mom doesn't accept it? What then? Are you then going to abandon your marriage? Or are you going to stay true to your woman? But when somebody says, I don't know, maybe a few months, a few years, it usually means I'm never going to tell that person. In fact, if I do tell that person, I will tell them in a situation where they're old as hell and it doesn't really matter anymore about their opinion, give or take. Because someone who's going to tell someone anything in general is going to tell them immediately. Few days at most. That's it. Anyone that says a few months, maybe a few years, it's a wrap. At that point, just walk away. The fact is that when it comes to Kris, does she want to put herself in a position where she's marrying someone with the potential that the family doesn't even accept her? That with the potential that when the family does find out, if the family was to find out, that the person that she's married may actually leave her because the family have told her no, and she decided to obey what the family has said. At the end of the day, you can't keep secrets from people who are close You cannot keep secrets from people who are close to you forever. You know, if she's always talking to her mum, always, you know, and the family, they're gonna figure it out. They're not stupid. Why wouldn't they? Some years go by and they're like, oh, my daughter still hasn't got married to a man yet. Oh, why every time I introduce you to this guy, you always say no, 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 no? You think family isn't gonna suspect something? Especially in today's society. In today's society, people are very quick to say, And I'm one of those people, I won't lie to you, who say, maybe he's gay. Maybe she's a lesbian. Maybe he or she is transitioning. So, but then again, though, I guess in some countries, they're not. Some countries don't have that influence. You know what I mean? Some countries don't have that, you know, that consistent exposure to that type of life. I guess people like myself who live in a first world country see it all the time, right? So we're probably gonna be like, maybe that's what's happening. I guess from herself in particular, because this is not really a thing, then I guess mum is never really gonna try and guess that. And also on top of that, I guess mum, dad, whatever, they're never gonna want to even think of that because it's not what they see, you know? The bottom line is that there is no way that the situation can go well. If I'm Kris, I'm walking away. In fact, if I'm Kris, I'm gonna say, listen, boom, I'm gonna give you until our wedding day. Tell your mother. You can't tell your mother, that is fine, but I have to go my own separate way. I cannot gamble with my life. And let's not forget, Kris is someone that's already been married twice. And then because she's married to men anyway, and it didn't work out, she's now opted to go for her other side. Because she's bisexual, she's now decided to go for women. You know, in hopes that things will be better for her. So, if I'm Kris, do I really want to put myself in a position where I'm going to marry someone who I'm potentially could get divorced to in a few years because parents don't accept me? And also on top of that, when it comes to Kris, her mum already questions her motives anyway. Does Kris really want to be in a position where she's going to prove her mum wrong? I mean, prove her mum right? There are so many elements to why Kris should just walk away. And it's crazy because, to be honest with you, I don't think I'd ever be sitting here with you, you know, speaking more on the Kris side than anything else. But hey, it is what it is. We are where we are. You guys let me know exactly what you're thinking. Is there anything that I've missed out? Is there anything that you think maybe is a bit too much or whatever? Hold on one second, actually.
Jeymi would say something to her family before we marry. But I can't be mad at Jeymi because it took me till now to say something to my mom.
All right, cool. Are the situations the same? No. Do they have similarities? Potentially. The only similarity they have is that she relates to the fact that it took her time to tell her mother. But the situation is not the same. Why? Because, Kris, guess what? You seeked a woman once your family knew. You seek to leave your family back in the States with your children, all that kind of stuff, okay? To be with a woman once you had obviously told your mother. Jeymi, on the other hand, has moved away from home, then continued to seek women without even being truthful. So the situations aren't the same. So to be honest with you, am I surprised that Kris is viewing it this way? No, because Kris isn't the brightest bulb in the room, you know what I mean? Definitely one of the dimmest there, clearly. So if you ask me personally, they're not the same. Because you've told your family before actually moving, and you told your family before actually getting into an emotional relationship with someone. Meanwhile, Jeymi, they ain't told nada. And also on top of that, Kris may not know this, but at the same time, Jeymi's out here talking with her friends about Jeymi's out here with her friends talking about Kris behind her back, she's gonna leave, all that kind of stuff. I really and truly, man. Don't mess about. Cut the BS, man. I see through it. But anyway, we're done. We're out.